Hey class, how are you doing? It's week 3. I know that it's been a really busy class, and you guys have really been doing a great job. You've been hanging in there, and I just really appreciate all of your hard work. It's a very compressed, short 7.5 week class, and we have a lot of information to cover. So this week, I really like this week. It's one of my favorite weeks because we just focus on resumes. I found that students really enjoy getting to create a resume because a lot of times you've never done a resume before. You did one in high school that wasn't all that great. And I really want each of you to come out of this class with a professionally written and designed resume that you can carry with you into the workforce. So that's my goal. So this week we are going to not only create a resume, we're also going to have an additional assignment called LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of the new Facebook for job hunting. If you've never heard of LinkedIn, as soon as you get out there in the workforce, it'll become one of your main social media stays. And so this week you will create a LinkedIn profile and start to rummage around on that site, and that'll be an additional assignment as well. So let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about this week. I'm going to go ahead and show you the screen. So week 3, here are your assignments for this week. I'm going to hold them up. You, of course, will have a discussion board. Your initial prompt is due midnight on Wednesday, and your response is due Thursday as usual. You will submit your resume to a peer review forum on Wednesday night. So your resume, your cover letter, and your reference page has to be completed by Wednesday night. Then you will review each other's resumes. I'm going to put you in groups of 3, and you will review each other's resumes, and you will post your review by midnight on Friday. And then by midnight on Saturday, you will actually post your final version of your resume, cover letter, and reference page. I'm going to actually use this new little thing I have here. I love this. Okay, and then your LinkedIn profile, that will be due midnight on Saturday. And then there's this email assignment. By midnight on Sunday, you're going to send me a professional email that explains to me how thorough you thought your classmates' reviews were of your resume, and you're going to give them a little grade. So I'm going to go through each one of these assignments one at a time. Sorry, it's taking a minute. So let's start with, I have a little poll here for you guys. Just a little poll. Have you ever written a professional resume before? So I'd like for you to take that. Your discussion forum this week, of course, it's talking all about resumes. There's about 3 questions in part 1 for you to answer, and in part 2, you actually have to go out and explore the web and find a website that deals with cover letters. The little change to this week's discussion forum is that in your response to your classmate, I want you to challenge or disagree with one of your classmates. So something that they post about resumes, I want you to say, hey, maybe that's not quite right. Maybe think about it this way. So let's see if you can find something to disagree with in a professional way, of course. I want you to keep it civil. And don't get your feelings hurt if somebody disagrees with you. They're just trying to fulfill the assignment. And then, of course, here is the resume assignment. So I'm going to go through that. The actual assignment is, what is your dream job? I want you to write a cover letter, a resume, and a reference page as if you were applying for a job you want when you graduate college. So the cover letter needs to be in professional letter format. I'm going to show you an example here that I'm going to take you through. The resume, I really want you to try to keep it to a 1-page document that really markets and sells your skill set. Now, if you've been in the workforce a longer time, 10 years or more, you can make it a longer resume. But generally, at a college age person with a limited skill set needs to keep it about 1 page. And then on your reference page, you need to include a minimum of 3 professional references. These have to be someone who taught you or supervised you in some way. Friends or family are not to be included. You don't have to provide real names and numbers here if you're not comfortable with that. So I'm going to take you through a sample. So here is a sample from a former student, Amber Smith. And I want you to note the very first thing is, do you see her nice header here on her letter? And her header on her letter is the same header as this is on her actual resume, and it's the same header on her reference page. So I want your header to be the same design all the way through. So each one of these 3 documents needs to have the same look and feel, needs to have the same header. So in your cover letter, of course, you have to have a return address, and you have to have an address to someone. You have to address this to someone. It can't be to whom it may concern. And you need to tell the position, of course, that you're applying for, what your skill set is that works well for this position, and definitely you need to ask for an interview. That kind of sums up what goes into a resume. Of course, there's a lot more that you can do here, but I'm going to try to get through this quickly. For your actual resume, I want you to include a very short objective statement that says what position you want and what company you are going to apply for. If you choose to, you can include a summary of your pertinent qualifications. So what Amber did here, of course, is kind of highlight some of the stuff that was important to her field. And for her education, you always want to use reverse chronological order, so the most recent goes first. And of course, I don't like the fact that she used LSU. You really want to spell out all acronyms on a resume. But you definitely want to include your GPA if it's over a 3.0, and you need to put in the date that your anticipated graduation. And if you have been to another school, if you attended that school for 1 year or less, you don't have to include it on your resume unless you just want to. But if you go to a school for a year or more, then you really do need to include it. And you need to tell how many hours you were in and possibly the degree program that you were in. And then professional experience, and here is really where employers look hardest. This is where most people focus when they first open a resume. They go right to this professional experience section. So of course you want to really spin this section so that it sells a significant skill set. You really want to avoid saying things like, I clean the floors, I answer the phone, those types of duties that anybody could do that don't really sell you. Try to use action verbs to quantify activities that you did, anything that you sold or designed or wrote or managed or supervised or were responsible for, or communicated. I mean, those sorts of words are real powerful, those action verbs. So you really want to focus on those types of skill sets. And I have an action word handout in the helpful documents this week. And she includes her availability here, which is one thing that you can include. If you were to have, you could have other sections. Let's say you have a lot of volunteer work, or maybe you have military, or maybe you have certifications, or you can have other sections beyond these, but these are the main ones that you want to have here. And then, of course, references, you want to list the person's name, their title, the company. You always want to give their phone number and email address so that they can easily contact them. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what I'm expecting. If you have any specific questions about your resume and what you need to include in yours, I'd be happy to answer any specific questions. The book and the helpful documents for this week give lots more resume tips and I strongly suggest that you really read this folder full of resume information. I give you lots of sample resumes. I give you other resources here, resume pointers, a resume handbook. So, and if you see a design of one of these resumes that you like, you're more than welcome to use it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And once you have created your draft of your resume, you will go to the resume peer review forum and you will post your document. And then you're going to use Word's track changes feature to perform a review of their document. So you have to submit these documents in Word. You can't submit them as a PDF. You have to submit them as Word. And I have given you some items to look for in your review: punctuation, consistency and capitalization, dates. You have to really, and here's some other things: never put high school in a resume, never use pronouns, don't put personal information, never use references available upon request. So I really expect you to have a minimum of 5 to 10 marginal comments and 10 to 20 in-text corrections. So I expect you to really, really review these documents heavily and make, I mean, there's got to be a significant review, and it's your job to help your classmates out. So you're going to save your track changes review, and you're going to review 2 of your classmates' documents. This review is 25 points per review, and if you are late, you do not get any points. So there's no excuses. I don't accept late assignments at all. Your group members are depending on you, and if you do not post your documents on time, I will take you out of the group. So please do not be late in this assignment. And then the last assignment is the LinkedIn assignment. Well, I guess it's not the last one, the resume one. LinkedIn, like I told you earlier, is a kind of a social media. LinkedIn.com will go here. As you can see, welcome to LinkedIn. Here is my profile per se, and you can see what I have out here, and I'll be happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. But it's basically your resume online. So you give your experience, you give all sorts of stuff about yourself. People can write recommendations for you. As you see, some of my students have written recommendations. Some people I've worked for and done editing for have written recommendations, and it just kind of, and then people will endorse you for your skills, and it just really creates a great way for you to connect with other professionals in your field and to kind of see, and it's a great place to look for jobs. I've had students every semester since I started this assignment who come to me and said, I posted my profile on LinkedIn, I got a job by the end of the semester. I can't tell you how many times that's happened. Students get jobs all the time from this assignment. So you're going to basically build your profile on LinkedIn, and then you will just follow this tutorial and you'll upload your profile as a PDF for me to review. And there is a sample out here of what that will look like and how that ultimately will look. And here is the sample LinkedIn assignments right here. And you see, this is what it's going to ultimately, this is what I will see when I grade. And I will actually go onto your profile as well. I want to see your picture, and I want to see what you've done out there and how you have worked with it. Now, the very last assignment is the email assignment. In the email assignment, nothing is actually uploaded to Moodle. You will actually send me an email. I want you to make sure to read the chapter on writing proper emails. I want an error-free email message, professionally written, where you evaluate the helpfulness and thoroughness of your peers' review of your resume. So let's say Johnny and Anna reviewed your resume. You say Johnny got a 3. He kind of skimmed through it and didn't do a great job. And Anna got a 5. She was extremely thorough. And you just kind of rank them on a scale of 1 to 5 and explain why you gave that ranking. And I want it emailed directly to me. One thing that I want to reiterate, about resumes in this week is a resume. I, I really believe is one of the most important documents that you'll write. It absolutely has to be error free. It needs to go through tons of reviews and edits. LSUS Career Services, our office here, will help you with your resume. If you don't feel like it's quite complete after this week, I'll help you continue to work on this document. If you can't present a short document that's 100% error free, that really does say to your employer that you might not have great attention to detail. So your attention to detail on this resume really does paint a portrait of who you are to a potential employer. So it's a document that I take very seriously, and that we spend quite a bit of time reviewing. So once again, if you have any questions specifically about your resume and maybe how to present something, maybe you have something that went on in your education or experience and you're not quite sure how to handle on a resume, send me a quick email or message me in the online office if you think others would benefit from the answer, and I'll be happy to help you with those types of questions. So have a good week. And I look forward to seeing your resumes and seeing your profiles. Have a good one.